I find blending work and children a nightmare. Although mine are teenagers now, knowing that I can sort of be agile with what I'm doing really helps, because there's always something that myself or Richard are called on to do, and it's that not knowing.
It is the element of the unknown and the element of surprise sometimes. So in our jobs, things change really quickly anyway, at the drop of a phone call, and then you get a phone call from nursery, in our case, or school, in your case, that something's happened, they've got a temperature, or I suppose your kids would call you with something that they need. Yeah. So, and then that changes your day again in a heartbeat, and you suddenly got to try and prioritise.
Got your day planned in your mind.
Yeah.
And then suddenly
there's a temperature or there's a cough, and you're suddenly on edge waiting for that phone call.
The stuff that's just got to be done in the work hours.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've got tomorrow, Freddie's got a choir competition with all the local schools in Cheshire, and it's at 9:30. And I'm just going to, drop both of them at school, and then I'm going to go and watch that for an hour and a half. But then I know that I'll make it up at the end of the day, and I'll, once they've had the dinner and they're in bed, I'll pick up the laptop again. So I think what's really great about the flexibility we get and we know we have is that we don't feel guilty about doing that. And I think, obviously I've been with Adam a long time now. I think it's 14 years. And I think in my previous business, that I didn't have the tech to do it, and B, it would have been kind of frowned upon. It wasn't, that you can, as long as your output's there, that, you just do make it work. It was, actually, you do have these core hours. We're very flexible because you can start at 9, not 8. Now, I don't worry if there's, something that the kids immediately need or I've got to do in the day. I know I'll make that time up and do that elsewhere across the week. And it doesn't really matter when, as long as, you do what you need to do.
I think it's that trust element that's really important. So I guess in some ways it's relatively new to me, being a working mum, because he's only 3 and you're similar, he's even younger. So it's quite a big adjustment, and that adjustment happened for me while I was here at Adam. And I think it is that trust piece, in that it's knowing that my job's really important to me, but it's also knowing that Ollie is like the most important thing, so that I'm trusted to balance them both, and I trust that that's recognised.
Yeah, that you're not just sat at home with your baby.
Just having a lovely time,
having a
playing.
Because I think previously people have just had to work around it, and it's been so hard for people because they've had to choose one or the other, because it doesn't work. I think in some places it's still crazy, the idea of, why can't you do 5 days from 9 till 5:30 and what is the issue? And it's like, actually I just want to spend time with my children, and that is like mental to some people still. And then they still probably say that they're dead flexible.
Important. I mean, I feel quite proud to be a working mum, and I can see that the girls really appreciate and sort of, I wouldn't say admire, because I don't think they admire me, but they really appreciate what I do, and they're interested in it. And I think being able to show that I can try to balance work and life, it's something that I'm quite proud of.
So when nursery need to make a phone call or school need to make a phone call, it's inevitably me. And that's no disrespect to him, because he does loads, he's brilliant, but I get the phone call. It's me that has to drop things.
No, I'm the same.
The mum guilt is awful, and it does stay with you. So it is, it is very refreshing that you can do your job and you're not made to feel guilty that you're letting somebody down at work or you're letting somebody down at home. And I think the beauty of being outcome focused, and that you can try and enjoy what you're doing at the same time without being guilty, I think that's really important. Well, it is for me.
There's so much to do, so I think actually it's a great message for young girls and young women to see, like, you can do both and you can make it work, but it is an adjustment, and it definitely
it's not easy, is it? I think there's sometimes that sense of feeling like you're not doing both well, and I think what's nice here is that you you've got the freedom and I think the voice to be able to say, do you know what, I actually really need to focus on this. I need to take a step back from that because this is really important. And things like working hours, I couldn't tell you what my hours actually are.
Yeah.
I think I do them. But it's kind of output led, and it might be that if I have to do that in the evening, and that's my choice, that's not expected, but I just think, well, I've got to deal with that now, so I'll just do that at another point. But that's my choice, it's not expected that I'll be logging on at 8.
Yeah, sometimes I get my best work done at like 8 till 9:30 in the evening because I've got that mindset on, and it's quiet and peaceful, and I know the kids are sorted.
But again, that's your choice. That's not like expected.
Yeah, no, it's just because I know I need to do something, and that's the point when I fitted it in and when it works for me, and I feel I'm in the right mind space.
And I think this agile working piece is working.
Definitely.
The fact that we've got hybrid, and even with the hybrid, even if we'd say we've all agreed that we work on a Tuesday, but there's something specific that's come up, I think it's quite refreshing that there's no guilt or there's no recriminations if you say, listen, I just can't get into the office on this Tuesday. It's just not going to work because of X, Y and Z. I think I appreciate that.
Definitely. I think the actual jobs that we do in the markets that we're in as well lend themselves quite nicely to it, because I certainly know on HR and I think on marketing as well, there's people in a similar position to us. So they're quite understanding of, do you know what, actually I can't do that call at that time. Can we do it at this time instead? So that's quite helpful as well in that respect, I think.
And it really helps with the HR community when we're speaking to them. We're learning about the best practice and we're learning from our candidates all the time.
Definitely.